In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Aurora Talentum Slim fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. All right, let's get on with the review. This is the Talentum Slim fountain pen. This is the slim version of the Talentum, and the biggest differences, apart from the narrower size, to that regular Talentum is that this is a snap cap. It has the smaller Ypsilon or style-sized nib versus the big Aurora Optima nib. And like the Talentum, this is a cartridge converter, takes the same proprietary Aurora cartridge and converter. The Aurora cartridges are very large though, and they're typically interchangeable with Parker cartridges and converters as well. I don't want to say 100% because they have changed the design a little bit, but typically the ones that I have fit these Aurora pens very nicely. Now, right off the bat, let's just take a look at it compared to a standard Talentum. So in terms of the size, it's a touch shorter. Interestingly, the clip is the exact same length and it has the same big ball that we see on the premium Aurora pens like the Optima and the 88. And the cap ring design is the same. It is the same width, just of course a little bit narrower. And the metal pieces on the end are just a little bit shorter. So they kind of kept everything proportional except for the length of the clip, which is interesting. You notice this one is wider, this one is narrower at the connection point in the cap, but other than that, pretty much the same. Now the biggest difference comes with the cap and the nib. So the regular Talentum has a threaded cap and a large 14 karat gold nib, whereas this has a snap cap and the smaller 14 karat gold nib that you would see on a Aurora Ypsilon Deluxe or a Aurora Optima Mini. And those are really the main differences. I actually find that this thin version is really, really comfortable. You know, in terms of like pen sizes, like here's a Clio Scribent Classic. And, you know, these pens are very, very similar to the Mont Blanc Classique in terms of sizes and just general comfort. So if you're familiar with the Mont Blanc Classique, these are very, very similar sized pens. If you like that size pen with the long grip section, but a bit skinnier maybe than some of the more modern style pens, these are really nice options. Now, the retail price of this pen is 295 euros. Street price is significantly less than that. As a comparison to the Ypsilon Deluxe, this is 210 euros, so you're paying an extra 85 euros. And again, this is retail price. Street prices will be less, but extra 85 to have this pen. And so what do you get for that extra $85? Well, you get a more premium strong clip here. You get a nicer cap ring with deeper engraving here, which says Aurora and Italy. Now, interestingly, on this pen, the Italy isn't right, you know, in the back opposite the Aurora. This is the first time I've ever seen a Aurora pen with this kind of issue. I've seen a lot of Aurora pens, and this is the first one I'm ever seeing where like the stamp on the cap is slightly off center, which is sort of interesting. Otherwise, the fit and finish is pretty much the same as the Talentum. There are no seams on the grip section like you get on an Aurora Style and an Aurora Ypsilon. So you do have, I think, improved fit and finish overall. You do have the exact same nib options that you get on the Ypsilon Deluxe, so 14 karat gold nibs from extra fine all the way up to broad, and then they do the specialty nibs. I believe you can have, well, I know you can have stub and italic. I do not believe you can get into the other specialty nibs like the Gocha nib, and I don't believe they do a BB nib in this smaller size nib. But it's a friction fit nib, same way as the Ypsilon is. Now, interestingly, Aurora does make a Optima mini fountain pen, and I'm actually having that off at a Nibmeister right now, otherwise I would show you, which uses the same nib, but they have a threaded nib unit and a piston filling system in that pen. That pen is quite a bit more expensive than this. It's really neat that Aurora does these sort of mini versions of their more premium pens. I really like that. Now, in terms of just the general shape of this pen, it has nearly flat tops. They are, rounded so they won't stand up on the table here, and it's a stepped, I don't know if you call this a finial, I don't know, it's just a big hunk of metal on the end here. It steps down, it's sort of chamfered a little bit, and then it goes flat to where the connection to the clip is, and then there's one more indentation before it goes down. It's a pretty hefty clip. There's a lot of metal up there. It's quite strong, and then it's a pretty straight body. There is a taper, but it's very, very subtle. And the Talentum is supposed to be a more modern looking fountain pen. It kind of is. I think this old Aurora clip definitely still has a little bit of a traditional look to it. And I have it in this pink color, but it comes in black, red, and yellow, I believe, are the color options for this pen. Unlike the Talentum, the full-size one, this one I don't find quite as top heavy. It is better balanced in my hand. There's less metal up top just because it is thinner. This is a really, really comfortable pen. One thing that is different from this versus the Ypsilon is even though they both have a snap cap, when it's posted, it's just a sort of friction post, whereas with the Ypsilon, it's a snap posting, and it makes for a smaller, shorter length pen. So the Ypsilon is slightly more comfortable, but this still has a really, really nice balance. But I do like the security that you get of the snap on the back of the pen here. It just gives you a more sense of security. Now let's do some size and weight. So looking at roughly 133, 132-ish, and then I would say that's 116, 117 millimeters, and posted, it becomes 160 millimeters. And in terms of the grip section, go back to the end here, 9.6. And just before the metal ring here, 8.4. And in terms of the width of the body, 11 millimeters. Now let's do the weight, 23.85 grams, and unposted, 14.14 grams. Now, as a comparison to the Ypsilon, 22.6 and 15.4. So the Ypsilon, interestingly, the body, I'm not sure why the body would be heavier. That is kind of surprising because, this has more metal in it, and yet this is somehow heavier. That's very interesting. Okay, but either way, both very comfortable everyday weights. These are not heavy pens. Very, very nice. Now let's do some size comparisons. So here we have it with the full-size Talentum, the Ypsilon, the Clio Scribent Classic, and then put it against a Aurora Optima. You can see it's quite a bit taller than that. Interestingly, and I'm surprised by this, the Ypsilon is a hair taller. I mean, it has a more pointy top to it. The waistline is pretty much even there. Here it is with a Montblanc 149. You can see it is considerably skinnier than that. Okay, let's do the writing sample. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Mitsubishi Bank Paper notebook. These notebooks are excellent with fountain pens. And for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. Aurora Talentum medium, and I believe this is the wet pen Deception Pass ink. And actually, it's not a medium, is it? It's a fine. What am I saying? It's a fine. Try fast writing. Pretty much flawless performance. Basically what you would come to expect from an Aurora nib, especially an Aurora fine. It's not the smoothest fine nib. It has that typical Aurora feedback, but it's very, very pleasant to write with. These pens, in terms of flow, they tend to be in sort of the average to drier side, but they're just really, really nice to write with. I really love these nibs. In terms of reverse writing, you can tell it's a little bit sharp. You can see these little like dot things. That's it catching the paper. Ooh, and that's, yeah. I would say no for that. It's not smooth enough for reverse writing. It is 14 karat gold nib, so you can get a little bit of line variation if you push on it. But, you know, these nibs are not flex nibs, so I would be very careful doing that. You can get a little bit of line variation there, so there is some, again, you know, softness because of the gold there. Overall, just a flawless performer. Yeah, not really much to say. I highly recommend these pens. They're excellent. So what are my pros and cons for the Aurora Talentum Slim? Well, I look at this as sort of an upgraded Aurora Ypsilon, which is one of my favorite pens. And in terms of upgrades, essentially you get a slightly better fit and finish. You do not have seams on the grip section like you do on the Ypsilon. However, you do get the same excellent nibs as the Ypsilon Deluxe, that is, being that these are 14 karat gold, and they do come in specialty grades, and those specialty grade nibs, like the stub and metallic, write very, very similarly to the larger gold Aurora specialty nibs. So the performance is really nice. I love this as a travel pen. I love this as an everyday workhorse pen. It works really well. It's a very comfortable. It posts securely. It's a really, really nice pen. Now, in terms of cons, it is more expensive than the Aurora Ypsilon Deluxe. So this is €295 retail versus €210. And that is definitely quite a big difference. Now, the style of these pens is certainly different, but you know, is it worth the extra €100? That's really up to you. I do also like that the Ypsilon snaps onto the back of the pen, which the Talentum Slim does not. So I think in a sense that's also a downside. It's sort of, you know, how much do you really value not having seams on the grip section? That's, for me, really what it comes down to, apart from overall style. It is a thinner pen, and like the full-size Talentum, it is slightly top-heavy when posted, although with the Slim, it's not quite as pronounced as with the full-size Talentum. These pens are also kind of hard to find. There aren't that many retailers carrying them, which is too bad because it is a great pen. The price is high, €295, but I do think you're getting good quality for that price. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.